Welcome back, SethBling here, and we're on a part 2 of my walkthrough for SethBling's Redstone Challenge number 2. Ethan Cake. Remember, this will contain spoilers if you want to try and solve the puzzles on your own. You probably don't want to watch this video. Part 1 you can see linked in the video description below. And we're on puzzle number 10. This one just gives you a single lever. So we have a lot of stuff here. Let's take a look. We have a lamp here that we could power with this this redstone block if we can get it over there. So we'll have to power this torch. How do we do that? Well, we need to remove the power from this one and from this line over here. There's a bunch of repeaters here that are going to delay the signal. So basically we have to get this pressure plate and this pressure plate off. Well, we have to do it at the same time. We can almost do that by just running over and stepping on it, but we can't quite make it in time. This is actually a regular piston. You can't tell for sure from here, but it is. Maybe I actually should have put a glass block between this piston and the redstone block. Then you could actually see, but I didn't. So we can't quite run fast enough. There's stone pressure plates, so we can't just toss items onto it or anything. We'll get back to that. So what do we get over here? First of all, we'll notice there's a brewing stand right there. There's some hoppers here. Okay, so we have pressure plate here. When we step on it, we get a glass bottle. When we step on this one, we get nether wart. When we get this one is sugar, and this one is glowstone. So when you put all those together, that is a speed potion 2. All right, so basically we're going to brew a speed potion 2, and that's going to allow us to run from one to the other very quickly. So we have a brew stand here. The top hopper will drop items into the ingredient slot. The side one drops items into the potions, the bottle slot. So we're going to fill this in. Now if we just drop this in here, it's going to flow into the hopper, and then it'll flow down through these hoppers, and we'll get it out here. So in order to stop that from happening, we're going to power this line, which just powers this hopper down below so that it won't try and suck up that water bottle. So I'm going to put this bottle in the ingredient hopper, sorry, in the bottle hopper over here. Now we're going to need to brew with some nether warts. So what's going to come next is it's going to take 15 seconds to do that. In the meantime, I'm going to put the sugar here, and it's automatically going to suck up the sugar and then the glowstone dust in that order. So it's going to auto brew, and we'll just have to watch this and wait until it does that. And so right now it's turning it into an awkward potion. You can see it just sucked up that sugar. It'll suck up the glowstone dust, and then we'll have to wait another 15 seconds. I'm actually going to grab another nether wart and put this at the end here. And what that'll do is, so it's brewing the speed potion right now. When it sucks up this glowstone dust, it's going to start brewing the enhanced speed potion 2. Now that glowstone dust is taking up the ingredient slot in the brew stand right now. As soon as the glowstone dust is gone, because it's finished brewing, it'll suck up the nether wart, and we'll be able to tell that it's done, so that we know when to pull the bottle out from the bottom of the brewing stand. Okay, just wait a couple seconds, and that'll happen. Okay, so nether wart's in there. I can now pull this out by turning off the signal here. We get a potion of swiftness, speed 2, and all I have to do is just drink that and run very fast. There we go. So line's turned off, it pushed the piston here, and the redstone block's in the right place. Okay, that pressure plate, by the way, clears your inventory, so you can't take items from one level to the next. Okay, we're on to level 11. This one gives you 2 levers. So the output here is once again a torch. You'll notice that's a very common theme. We have to turn off these 3 torches without turning on these 2 repeaters, kind of like another combo lock. So we get one line here that has a bunch of repeaters that we can use, but that's not going to do it because these 2 repeaters come on. And then the side line over here is a bunch of repeater locks. And so what we're going to need to do is we're needed to get a signal through these repeaters in a way that turns just these 3 torches off without powering these other 2 blocks. In order to do that, I'm going to turn the repeater locks on. I'm going to turn the power here on. Now these repeaters are locked, so that the signal isn't going to get through. And I'm just going to flick this lever off and on real quick. It allows the signal to propagate through these repeaters, basically basically by one repeater. So I do it once, I do it again. So we have, oh, was too quick. I'm too fast. Again, too quick. All right, there we go. So we moved it along by one. And so what we're going to want is on, off, on. And so I'm going to turn this off. I move it along by one again. So we have off, on. And so basically we want the next one to be on and anyway, let me just show you. It's a little bit hard to explain, I guess. Okay, so we got this one on, off, on. And then this one was already off. And so that does it. And we're good. So basically we were just feeding it one bit at a time into this buffer thing. We were moving on by one bit at a time with the repeater locks. If that makes any sense. I hope it does. So when we get 12 redstone, 4 repeaters, I take a bite of cake. This, in my opinion, is the most difficult level. And it's just going to take some experimenting if you don't want to do it with hints. I've seen a couple of people get it, and I know that there are plenty of people who have solved this puzzle. Okay, so what do we have? We have a redstone block that we want over here. We have this other redstone block here. Now this piston can't possibly push with either the arm in the way or the redstone block in the way. So in order to get this piston to push the block, which we will need to do, we'll need to get this redstone block to be over here without the arm in the way. In order to do that, we need a 1-tick pulse to the piston, which will leave the block behind. Once we do that, we can get this block in here and allow the piston to extend, which will put it here. So we need a 1-tick pulse. However, we also need this line to be off when we have the 1-tick pulse. So we can't just do something like this, where we place and remove the dust. We need to actually be standing on this pressure plate right here, which will turn this torch off and turn off the line to that piston. When we do stand here, the piston just retracts. And at this point, if we applied a 1-tick pulse, we could get that block to stay out here, and that would be great. So how do we do that? Well, typically you'd want to use some contraption with either pistons or torches, but all we have are redstone dust and repeaters. Turns out the way to do it is with a repeater lock. So I'll show you exactly how to do that. What we've got here is this repeater is locking this one. There's a signal, there's a delay of 2 on this one. So if we depower this circuit, what we can see is that the repeater here blinks on for a moment. And it blinks on for 1 tick. So the way this works is basically after 1 tick of the power being removed, the repeater lock comes off and this repeater can turn on. Then after 2 ticks, the power comes off and this repeater turns back off. So if I stand on the pressure plate over here, we'll actually see that happen. The piston retracts and then it pushes. Now the problem is we need the side piston over here to push before I step off the pressure plate. Because as soon as I do that, it's going to extend again. No good. So that's what the last repeater over here is for. I can just set this to a delay of 4, and it'll basically allow this torch to turn on after 4 ticks, which is after this piston pushes its block off. So that's what we see. Now if I just step off the plate, this one will extend again, and we push the block out. This is, I think, the most difficult solution to come up with. Most people don't have a lot of practice building 1-tick pulses out of repeaters. All right, we're on level 12 now. This one, we get 2 repeaters and 2 gold blocks. I'm just going to put, 2 levers, 2 gold blocks. Just going to put those down. I'm just going to take this one step at a time. So we okay, what we need is this block powered. Now this line comes over here and reaches over here. The only thing is the line is too long, so it doesn't reach it. So we can push that. And basically we have this redstone block that we're going to want to use somehow to get the line over. So I'm going to try and move this redstone block as much as I can. Currently I can't push with this piston because there's this in the way. So If I flick this lever, it kind of controls all 3 pistons on this side, toggles them. Now, we've moved this out of the way, and this piston can't push because there's an arm here. So when we turn this on, this piston's going to be able to extend, and we get the block over here. But the thing is, it's a sticky piston, so it's going to retract it back when I do that. So the trick here is I need to basically click this fast enough that it'll be a 1 tick pulse to that piston. It can actually be kind of hard to do that. There we go. It takes a little bit of practice. So we do that. At this point, we want to push this one in so that we can push it farther along because we're needing to get it in range of this piston. So if I just flick this on again, it happens that that's how it works out. We push here, then we push here. So now we would like to basically extend and retract this piston, which comes from this line. But we can't because there's the piston arm in the way, so we're just going to toggle this guy off. Now the piston arm isn't in the way, and this one actually is able to extend because it's already powered. We want that one to retract and pull the redstone block with it. There we go. And then the last move is we just push again with this one. So we turn this one back on. And now the redstone block is close enough that it's able to power the line here. Move on. That one's pretty simple, actually, I think. It's just a matter of working your way through it. This one gives us a ton of redstone and a torch. We have another pressure plate over here. This one just triggers both this output here, which we have access to, and it triggers this piston. And then we have 2 droppers here. They're actually facing each other. You can tell that just because you can't see the faces, and they just are. So we need to get enough items into this dropper that it's going to power this lamp. The difficulty is we need to be standing on the pressure plates in order to get any signal through over here to this hopper. And when we stand on the pressure plates, it's going to power this one. So if we just connect the input to the output to the input here, it will power the hopper over here. We can put a bunch of items in. So it's going to power the hopper over here, but the problem is it's also going to power this one. So each time we stand on it, it's going to power both, and we're not actually going to make any progress. So we have 6430, 6331, 6331, and so it's doing the same thing. It's just shuffling them back and forth. So there's a couple ways to solve this. The way I solve it is to make a little clock here. So this is gonna have a clock powering itself. It's gonna burn out the torch, and if we stand here, actually, the clock will eventually do the work for us because we've only powered this dropper once. This one will turn on and off, and it'll keep dispensing items in this one, but that's kind of slow because there's kind of a random reset on this clock. You can force the reset though by just putting a dust here and breaking it, and that'll force the clock to start going again. It'll force the torch to kind of unburn out. So now you can see we're providing power to that left dropper there, and basically we just keep doing this until we have enough items in the right dropper that the power turns on. It's going to take a little bit of time though. This is pretty similar to the other comparator clock one. Oh, I'm just going to keep doing this until I hear the sound over there of the door opening, which I think I should hear. Oops. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, there we go. So that's how you do it. Got enough items in this dropper that it powers the lamp. All right, this is one of my favorite ones, and a lot of people enjoyed this one. It appears deceptively hard. Once you realize the trick, it's pretty easy. So we have, again, a bunch of torches, and they're all powering this hopper. So we want to power the torches, but not power the repeaters. But that's really easy. We can just see where the torches are. This hopper is pointing at this other hopper here, so presumably there's some items in there that we want access to. So it's really easy to just see where all the torches are and directly power them. And so we do that. All the lamps are off. We start getting items funneling into this hopper. There's 7 levers. And great, so we got 7 levers. What's over here? Okay, well, first of all, let's look at the objective. We have a hopper here. If we put some items into it, we can get a signal strength of 1. We need a signal strength of 2 in order to power this lamp. So we don't have enough items yet. Even if I took all those levers off of those gold blocks, we wouldn't have enough. So we have something over here. Now this looks identical to this one, except the only difference is that there's glass on that one and there's iron on this one. So we took advantage of the fact that we could see the torches in order to solve this one. We can't do the same thing over here. Now your first instinct might be to just copy the exact combination, put the same levers in the same places. We have the same number of levers, so maybe that'll work. Turns out it's a different combination though. So what this level actually teaches you is how to lockpick this type of lock. The way to do it is you put a lever on the block here and you flick it off and on a bunch of times. We heard that torch burnout. What that means is there is a torch on the other side of this one. If there was just a repeater, you wouldn't hear a torch burnout. So we're going to do that for all of these. You need to flick the torch off and on 8 times. I'm just holding down the right mouse button because it's a little bit faster. And yeah, once it's gone off and on 8 times, then you can be sure it's not a torch. Okay, we heard that. And I'm just going to go down the line and do it for all these. I think it's really cool. This is basically a lockpicking technique. It exploits a physical feature of the lock, and this is a pretty common type of lock actually. So you can actually use this, you know, if their friends have world guarded their house and use a lock like this in order to break into their house by using torch burnout. So, you know, I try and be a little bit educational where I can with these sorts of things. It does take a little bit of time, but not nearly as long as guessing the, what is it, like 8,000, actually probably more, probably like 32,000 different possible combinations that we could have on these using 7 levers. Well, actually, sorry, 15. There's 15 spots for levers. We're almost there. Okay, there, and we only have 1 lever left. Okay. It's possible we could have to take a lever from there, but if I just peek in here, yeah, we can see we have the levers. So now we do have enough levers to activate the hopper at the end of the level, so I'm just going to need to break all the levers that I've taken here. I actually technically realized that this is a little bit of a violation of the rules as I stated them. The signs at the beginning say you can only place or break blocks that are given to you in that level's chest. Some of these levers were not given to me in this level's chest. They were given to me in a hopper. So I actually should have written the rules more clearly. I usually write very clear and precise rules, but it doesn't really, I think most people get the idea, but it's, you know, it's still just a thing. Anyway, take some bites. We're on to level 16. This is the second to last level. This one is, I hate to say it's actually a little bit obnoxious. I probably should have made it a little shorter or something. Okay, so we have a redstone line over here that could power this lamp. The only source of power that we have in here, we have a bunch of sticky pistons. There's just this redstone block. So we somehow need to get this redstone block in contact with this redstone line. I'm just going to solve this. You can take a look on your own and see how everything's connected. But basically there's a chain of things we need to do. So I'm going to use this sticky piston, this sticky piston to pull in this one. And then there's going to be a lot of 1-tick pulses for pistons. So I'm going to use, there's one underneath here. I'm going to use it to push this one over here. And hopefully I'll get really good at this so I don't have to spend a lot of time. Oh my god. There we go. Maybe I should fast forward through this. I don't know. So then we need to push, there's like a chain of sticky pistons that we need to push forward. Oh my god. You kind of have to really like slam the mouse key in order to do it quickly. Alright, so then we're going to use this one to pull this one. That one doesn't have to be fast, but then this one will. Use this one to push this one. Oh yeah. Okay, we're going to use this one to pull this one. It's just this chain of things, and you have to do all of them in order to solve the puzzle. Okay, whoops. And you only get 1 lever, so you have to keep breaking the same lever. It'd probably be a lot easier, actually, if... whoa! Okay. I think there was a bud thing going on there. Okay. There we go. This would probably be a lot easier if you had multiple levers, just because you'd be able to extend one and then extend another, and etc. And you wouldn't have to worry about these one-tick pulses. But I think this is the last one-tick pulse right here that I'm about to do. Yeah, so now we need to get this redstone block into place here by basically, this is like a 4-piston extender retractor thingy, and we just have to slowly walk it back. We'll have to walk all the pistons back. I do kind of apologize for this level. It's kind of time consuming, and it can be really annoying to try and get those one-tick pulses, especially if you're trying to do this on multiplayer server, which is where I did a lot of the testing with Blame the Controller, Disco, Dinnerbone. Just a big chain of these things. I actually had this longer originally. Whoops. This thing was longer originally, but okay, we just need to move them all back one more. How's your day going? Hope it's been nice. My day's nice. It's really nice outside. All right, there we go. That's the last one. Whew. We're on to the last level. You may actually recognize this level. I think it's a duplicate of number 7. We just have the signal over here, and we need to get it over here. You'll recall in the previous one, we didn't have enough redstone to get over. That's still true. It still won't reach. And we actually have slightly less redstone. We get, in that level, we had 7 dust and 2 repeaters. This one we get 5 dust and 3 repeaters. It's actually considerably... I think it's harder for a lot of people to come up with a solution for this one. I'm going to show you what I did, and it takes a little bit of timing is the other thing. So basically the difficult thing is that people don't seem to think, well, at least in the testing that I did, people don't seem to think of doing it sideways like this. So I'm going to slowly walk it over. Now this, like I said, it does require a little bit of timing. I need the correct slot ready, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this dust, which will break this loop, and place the dust over here before the power goes away to create a new loop over here. And then this repeater will become redundant. This one's redundant right now. So I'm going to break this one. It's going to fall in my inventory in slot 1, and I'm going to have to place it over there. There we go. And then I'm just going to do the exact same thing over here. It's a little bit tedious, but okay, make sure the important thing is to make sure you have slot 1 selected, because you need to be able to place the redstone right as soon as it falls out of, or as soon as you can pick it up. So yeah, I have slot 1 selected, and I can just spam right click, looking at the correct spot. And it's just a bunch of this. Sometimes if you get it placed a little bit too late, you can get a little clock action going, in which case just cycle through the spots of the repeater, and it'll get the clock situated back into a single solid pulse. To make sure you switch the direction of the repeaters every time. This one's facing this way, this one's facing this way, this one's facing this way. Okay, slot 1. Don't want to mess this up. Yeah, I think a lot of people complained about the timing difficulties involved in this one. I don't think it's too bad if you just make sure you have the right slot selected and you're standing in the right place. But hopefully I won't mess up in the last second here. Yeah, okay. And so now I just pick up this dust. There we go. And that's the solution. So that was the last level. When we come out here, it turns the time to night and sets up a little fireworks show with my randomized fireworks spawner. So there you go. That's how you beat SethBling's Redstone Challenge number 2. Like I said, it was a lot of fun putting it together. I was really happy with some of the puzzles. I like this one a lot because it just looks so simple. You know, you just have to get power from over here, but it can be actually quite challenging to come up with that solution. I really like the lockpicking one too. I might at some point do a video just showing a few different types of redstone locks and how you can exploit vulnerabilities in order to pick them. Yeah, but hopefully you enjoyed yourself. Hopefully you learned something if you're watching the walkthrough. Maybe you didn't know how to do some of them. So there's a lot to learn in order to be able to finish this redstone challenge, and hope I was able to teach you some of that. That's about it. Thanks for watching.